Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagnikalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamaya Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. So we are seeing the Rudrashtakam. It is one is Vedic form of Bhagwan is Rudra. The second is also Bhagwan got angry with Kakavashundi ji when he did not get up as a disciple out of ego, and the Guru did not have any uh, ill feelings about it, but the Lord said that he cannot bear this, and so he pronounced a curse. To save the disciple, the Guru, out of compassion, is singing this. So, Rudra is one of the uh, aspects of Bhagwan where sometimes when he becomes angry, so he will be destroying the whole creation, also gets destroyed. That is a Rudra Rupa. Or on this devotee, for this particular incident, Bhagwan is angry and pronounces the curse. So, Rudra. So, the second verse today, beautiful one. Nirakaram Omkaram Turiyam Girajnanagotitamisham Girisham Karalam Mahakalakalam Kripalam Gunagara Samsara Param Natoham. So Natoham, my salutations. Passive voice in Sanskrit, Natoham. I bow down otherwise in simple language. To whom? To one who is Nirakara, who has actually no form, who is formless, infinite consciousness. But that which is formless does not mean it does not have an ability to take a form. Everything, in fact, which is having a form is in its subtle nature formless only. Form is the grosser manifestation of the subtler nature. So we have a physical body which has a form. Our mind does not have a form. Thoughts don't have a form. They will take the form of whatever we think about. So if I think apple, now the vritti has taken the form of an apple. If I see computer, it has taken the form of a computer. But by itself it is thoughtless, formless, sorry. Many things like that. What is in the form is a grosser manifestation. So hydrogen and oxygen, formless. Now they combine together and then water will be formed. Then one can see, okay, physical form is there. Same way, fire is formless, manifest, unmanifest in the wood. Then it will, by friction, manifest. So, and formless is always greater in power, subtler, more pervasive, greater in power. So Nirakaram. Yet that supreme infinite consciousness appears in the form of the whole universe also, as well as in the form of the creator. So all the three, the creator meaning Ishvara, the Jagat, the entire universe, as well as every being, the Jiva. So Jiva, Jagat and Jagadishvara, all of them are appearances of the Supreme Infinite Consciousness. So there is a form for all. Jiva has a form, Jagat has a form, but the Jiva says, no, Ishvara cannot have a form. Ultimate truth does not have a form. There is no doubt in that. Because that which is infinite is not bound by anything and it does not have a limitation of Desha Kala Vastu. It is infinite consciousness. But for us to grasp infinity, very difficult. As well as one wants, Bhagwan takes a form out of love for devotees. Devotees also want to have Leela with Bhagwan. They want to talk to Bhagwan, connect with Bhagwan, feed the Lord. So many things they want to do. Bhagwan also out of compassion he manifests. So though we worship the specific form, the devotee also must know that ultimate truth, the Swarupa of Bhagwan is formless. So in bhakti we have these 8 things: Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Kriya, Sambandh, Dham and Swarup. So 7 are with form, last one is formless. Name of Bhagwan, Nama, Rupa is particular form only. Then Leela, all the characteristics, all the activities that Bhagwan does, various vyavahar that he does, Leela. Guna is qualities, so no form for that specifically. So Nama, Rupa, Guna. Kriya is the daily actions, whatever Bhagwan does, his routine. Sambandh, what is the sambandh that one has with Bhagwan? So one Bhagwan will appear in that form. So somebody looks at Bhagwan as a child, as a beloved, as a husband, as a friend, as a master. Whichever form the devotee looks at, Bhagwan will manifest through that form. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Leela, Sambandh. Then Dham, the abode of the Lord, where Bhagwan stays in a specific form. So Kailas is the abode of Bhagwan Shiva. And Swarupa, what is the essential nature of Bhagwan? So the qualities, see, in the beginning I said there is only one which is formless, because even qualities, we connect with the form. That is one way to understand qualities. Otherwise, yes, qualities formless, so then qualities and Swarupa formless. Otherwise, we connect qualities to the form. Like we saw other day, the Gangaji represents service, knowledge, devotion. Jata represents the tapasya, austerity. Blue neck represents compassion. Half eyes closed. So Bhagwan is not asleep, not lost in the world, has held the mind in a certain balance and absorbed in the self. So each aspect of the form also has some qualities associated, and in general we associate qualities of Bhagwan with his form. So each form, like Gurudev said, in the Hindus are not idol worshippers. We worship the ideal behind the idol. So we are actually ideal worshippers. And further, if you go deeper into it, we are not Murti Pujaks, we are Deva Pujaks. We worship Bhagwan, not the Murti. Murti is a means for us. If somebody says we are cloth saluters, looking at the flag. We are not cloth saluters. We are saluting our country. The flag is made up of that cloth. Now some fool says, these are cloth saluters. What cloth saluters? We are saluting the country. For us, the country is important. Our bhav is for the country. So form also has a quality. So Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Leela, Sambandh, Dham all have form associations, and Swarupa is formless. So Nirakaram, and please remember that there is nothing superior or inferior about form or formless. If somebody says no, formless is subtler, and so I am more greater because I do the formless upasana. These people worship the form. They are one and the same. Each one as per their temperament we have to choose. So Nirakaram, one who is formless, yet appears in many forms. We saw in the first one, Vibhum. Vibhum, one meaning of Vibhu is all pervasive, all pervasive. Other meaning of Vibhu is who manifests everywhere in a special way, Visheshena Bhati. So, all forms are Bhagwan's forms only. Nirakaram, Omkara Moolam. He is the source of Omkar. Omkar is the most powerful mantra indicating the Supreme. Om iti ekaksharam Brahma. And Bhagwan here he says the source of Omkar. Omkar itself means consciousness. But here if we say Omkar as a mantra, then Bhagwan is the revealer of that mantra. Bhagwan is the source of that Vedic mantra. And Bhagwan is the very truth revealed by Omkar. Omkara Moolam. Nirakaram Omkara Moolam Turiyam. Bhagwan is the fourth state of consciousness. So Omkar, A, U and Ma represent the three states of consciousness, the waking, the dream, the deep sleep. Identified with that, we become the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Vishwa, Tejas, Prajna. The entity of the waking state is called Vishwa, Mr. So and so. Because we perceive the Vishwa through this waking state. In the dream state, this Vishwa is not visible. And so each of us have a different name to identify each other. But the general entity, the waker of this state is called Vishwa. So Akara represents this Vishwa. Ukara represents Tejas. Why it is called Tejas? Because without any source of light, we are still seeing the whole dream, no? How is that possible? Our eyes are also closed. There is no physical source of light. And we have, like those of us who have spectacles, we don't need spectacles to see the dream. We remove it and we go to sleep, and then eyes are closed, no source of light, yet the whole dream appears. In whose light do I see that? So that consciousness which illumines this dream, empowers the mind, one is able to see. So that dreaming entity is called Tejas. Because it illumines the dream. The dream is perceived. And that deep sleeping entity, beyond the state of dream, the dreamless sleep, where there is no awareness of the body or the prana or the mind, there are no thoughts, no emotions, that entity is called prajna. Prajna means one who is ignorant. Prakarshena agnya, that is one meaning. So one who is ignorant, because there is ignorance in that state. Though the mind is dormant, I don't know who am I. I am closest to the self, but there is ignorance, so I am not identified with the self. There is a state of dormancy. So I don't know anything in that state. When I come out of that state, then I feel, oh, I slept like a log. I knew nothing. So, Akara is represented by Vishwa, Ukara is Taijasa, Makara is Prajna, identified with each state, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dream, deep sleep. So when one chants Om, one is saying that this waking, dream, deep sleep, also this waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, this is the realm of change. And even these three entities are actually consciousness only identified with the waking state. So who is the dreamer? Who is the waker? Who is the deep sleeper? Consciousness identified with the gross body experiencing the waking world is called Vishwa. Consciousness identified with the subtle body identified knowing oneself as Tejas. That is consciousness and sees the dream world, projects the dream world. And it is consciousness identified with the causal body becomes the deep sleeper, ignorant of everything. So it is consciousness only, but identified. Now between the two ohms there is a gap. That is consciousness by itself, not identified with anything. That is Turiya, the fourth state of awareness. It is called fourth because it is different from the three. Because these three are coming and going. They are realm of change. This is changeless. Otherwise, it is not actually another state. It is the state which is always there. The rest of them come and go. On the substratum of the consciousness, which is the Turiya Avastha, waking, dream, deep sleep keep happening. And so, Omkara Moolam Turiyam. Bhagavan is the source of Omkar as consciousness, as the revealer of the mantra, and Bhagavan is the very state indicated by Omkar also, as Vishwa Tejas Prajna and as the Turiya Avastha. The purpose of doing Omkara Upasana is to abide in the true nature of ours as Turiya Avastha. Our nature is infinite consciousness. One may do Omkara Upasana for other reasons also, but that is only on the way, means. The real goal is to realize, Arey, I am that Atma Tattva which is appearing as this entire creation. So, Turiyam, Bhagavan is that consciousness. So, in the Mandukya Upanishad, beautifully said, Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyante, Sa Atma. That which is peaceful, Shantam, Shivam, most auspicious, Advaitam, non dual, is the fourth state, and that is the Atma. And that is to be known, Savigneyaha. In human life, that is the goal, that has to be known. If I don't know that, everything else I know, what is the point? So Bhagavan in the Upanishad mantra says, Savigneya, that Atma has to be known, and that Atma, once we know, one is fulfilled. So Shivji is that. Nirakaram, Omkara Moolam, Turiyam. And as infinite consciousness, Gira, Jnana, Gotitam. Gira is speech, Jnana is knowledge, so vritti, thoughts, emotions. Gira, Jnana, and Go. Go means in this context the senses. Beyond the grasp of the senses, the mind and the speech. Meaning, Bhagavan cannot be realized as a specific form outside. One may have darshan of the form, but one will still have the difference. So the ultimate realization is oneness, not difference. And Bhagavan is not an object to be known as other than me. Bhagavan is beyond the object and subject, the true nature of ours. So beyond the grasp of senses, so physically also our senses are not capable of perceiving Bhagavan in the sense his nature is light, consciousness, and our eyes are so limited, they have a limited range of vision. One can't see. Physically also impossible. But Bhagwan blesses the devotee and then gives darshan. In some ways, the devotee has the darshan of Bhagwan, no doubt. But the point is, it is still I am devotee, he is the Lord. Or whatever is the sambandh, there is a duality, right? And so Vedanta says ultimate is non-dual and cannot be known. How much ever I know, so it cannot be known as separately some object that will not remove my sorrow. I have to know it as my true nature. Beyond the aham, small I, the subject, beyond the object, Bhagavan is not some form with some properties alone, though he appears like that. He is infinite truth. So beyond the perception of the senses and that which is nameless, formless, attributeless in its true nature, cannot be described much by words. One may even say nameless, formless, attributeless, but it does not define. It only indicating pointers can be given. Otherwise, one has to realize it in the heart as the self. So, not possible to grasp through the senses. So, if somebody says, "Show me God," does God exist? Then show. That question only is wrong. That which is imperceptible has to be only known, cannot be shown, which is infinite, imperceptible, can't be demonstrated outside. That's why Gurudev said beautifully, if you want to prove God, improve yourself. Means what? If I keep on dropping all my attachments and lift myself higher and higher and higher, I will come to realize that my nature is consciousness. I've only held on to the false, and so I'm thinking I'm this limited form, Mr. So and so, having such and such qualities. Drop all that. So improve from tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva, sattva to beyond. Yesterday we saw no that Bhagwan is gunatitam, nirgunam, nijam nirgunam. So like that. Hence, gira, speech cannot describe, jnana, thought cannot grasp. So Bhagwan is not a concept. We may use pointers, ajam, nirvikalpam, niriham, nirakaram, all pointers to help us to drop wrong identification. There is no definition of Bhagwan in that sense that something, any definition of Bhagwan, Gurudev used to say, to define God is to defile God. How can you define God? That which is infinite, even the word infinite cannot define. So it's not a concept. It's the illuminer of all concepts. So beyond perception, beyond the speech, and beyond any intellectual or even emotional concept or even an experience, however great some experience, some light and some great feeling of calmness and peace, and suddenly some siddhis also come to a person, all that is passing. If I want to know my true nature as Atma, it is all the realm of change. It has to pass, let it go. One is not interested in that. So, Gira, Jnana, Gotitam, Isham is the Lord. So Isha word has different meanings. Isha means to rule. Yesterday also we saw Isha also has another connotation that one who can do things in a certain way. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha kartum shakyam. Who can do certain things and who can be without doing anything and there will not be any restless. Akartum shakyam. Can just be quiet and meditate, absorb the self. And anyatha kartum shakyam can do something absolutely differently. Things happen according to the laws in nature. Bhagwan can twist the law also and do anything. So you and I think it is a miracle. That is Bhagwan's glory, Isha. So Isham, Girisham. Girisham means the Lord of the mountains. So many mountains which are there. Himalayas are there, Meru is there, Mandar is there, Kailash is there. That I am talking about what we know in our literature. But across the world, so many Alps and Andes and so many mountains. Bhagwan is the Lord of all mountains. A Lord of all mountains means So Bhagwan stays in the mountain. The king of all mountains is called Kailas. Bhagwan is the one who stays there. And he is the lord of the mountains, meaning what? What does a mountain symbolize? Many things mountain symbolizes. A mountain symbolizes hard, austere life. Not very easy to live in the mountains. But it also symbolizes a life much more closer to nature. Today, you and I have gone and destroyed the mountains also. And then we are causing all so many challenges there and landslides and so many these things are happening. Otherwise, mountain life is secluded life, solitude. Bhagwan lives. Weather sometimes are extremes. It symbolizes austerity, living in simplicity with bare minimum and engaging in something which is subtler and deeper. Mountain also symbolizes stillness, complete stillness. That's why in the Gita, Bhagwan uses the word achala. One should sit very still in meditation. Achalam sthiraha. Mountain is called achala. You know, Puranic stories, if you read, it will be said that earlier the mountains had wings and they used to fly around. And then Indra cut down the wings of all the mountains and they all fell. They fell. And so they became fixed, achala. So mountain symbolizes sthirata, stillness. And the purpose of going to mountains also is to become still. So looking at the beauty of nature, one admires the creator, and in the thoughts of the Lord, the mind becomes quiet. Away from the distractions of the world, temptations, sense objects, enjoyments. One lives in austerity, simplicity in the mountains and makes the mind quiet. Bhagwan is sitting there and doing that only. He is sitting in meditation in the mountains. He is not going around dancing and enjoying their stillness. So Girisham means that. And if you see the mountain, no, it is like this, pointed, right? So mountain also symbolizes the spiritual journey of a person. And that's why you see many temples are on mountains. We have to climb up somewhere on the peak and we feel, Arey, what is this Bhagwan? Every time he is mountain, he's staying somewhere on the top of a mountain and then we have to climb. That is the we come out of comfort zone. And spiritual sadhana is that get out of comfort zone, learn to be in simplicity, put the body, mind, intellect through some austerity and difficulties. Because too much identification we have with this. That's the bondage. And mountain also shows the entire spiritual path. Broad base, and it will keep going narrow, narrow, narrow and point up. Broad base of karma yoga we need. To serve Bhagwan, to do our activities. Through the day, our maximum part of the day goes in work. To have the bhav that I am serving Bhagwan in and through all the roles and duties I am doing, that is karma yoga. And dedicate all that to Bhagwan. Then upasana I have to do. Build a relationship with Bhagwan, do the mantra japa, do some puja, abhishek, any such sadhana where I connect to the Lord exclusively, sit quietly, withdrawing the attention. Upasana. So karma yoga, upasana, and then last is jnana sadhana. Jnana yoga, that is listen to the Mahavakya, listen to the knowledge of Vedant which tells us you and I are not this, we are infinite consciousness. Listen, reflect and contemplate. And on the peak what you have is Bhagwan. One will discover oneness with the Supreme. So mountain is symbolic of that. Hence, so many factors, beautiful aspects about mountains. So Bhagwan is called Girisham. He is the Lord of the mountains. The Lord who lives in the mountains. One of the names of Bhagwan Shiva also is Girisha. Girisha and Girisha. Girisha is a lord of mountains. Girisha means one who stays in the mountains. Girau Sheteti Girisha. who lives in the mountains. So he symbolizes all these virtues and values, and he is the Lord of the mountains. As the Ishvara, he is only the creator of everything. And so he is the Lord of mountains. And he has married also the daughter of the mountains, Himalaya. So Himavan is the king of the Himalayas, and he married the daughter of that, Parvati Devi. So Nirakara Momkara Moolam Turiyam Girajnana Gotitam Isham Girisham Karalam. Very terrible form he takes sometimes. Not easy to uh, look at Bhagwan when he is in the Rudra Rupa. Karalam. Mahakala Kalam. He is the death of even death. Meaning he is Mrityunjaya. Immortal. More about Mahakal we will see when we come to the Jyotirling aspect. So Mahakala Kalam. Kripalum. Most compassionate. Bhagwan is called Ashutosh. Very kind and compassionate. See, the description of Bhagwan is like that. His nature is Shiva, auspiciousness. He is Ashutosha, very easy to please, very kind and compassionate. But somehow we only think that Shiva means angry. Third eye opens and he becomes angry. His anger is issue based sometimes, and that also out of compassion to discipline us, to elevate us. But otherwise, his nature is only compassion, love and compassion. Out of compassion, Bhagwan took the poison to save the world and to give Amrit to the world. Bhagwan took the poison, that is his compassion. Bhagwan stood and withheld the force of Mother Ganga and captured Mother Ganga in his jata and lets out a streak of it so that we have enough to nurture and nourish us. Otherwise, Gangaji would have destroyed the whole earth and gone into the patal. Compassion, Bhagwan takes the Ganga in his forehead. You know, beautifully, Shankaracharya ji writes in this Shivananda Lahari. I'm just going to read one very beautiful shloka where about Kripa, about this nature of Bhagwan as Kripalum. So nicely he says, Asare samsare nij bhajan dure jadadhiya भ्रमन्तं मामन्धं परमकृपया पातुमुचितम् मदन्यः को दीना तव कृपणरक्षाति निपुणः त्वदन्यः को वा मे त्रिजगति शरण्यः पशुपते त्वदन्यः को वा मे. Oh Lord, apart from you, who else is there for me in these three worlds to take refuge? Why? Because in this world which has no sara, asare samsare, in that nija bhajana dure, I am away from the bhajan of yours. Jadadhiya, I have such jad buddhi that I am running behind sense enjoyments. Brahmantam, lost in this world. Andham, no vision of the truth. Thinking of myself as the body, lost in the world of samsara. So I am a dina, very, I have fallen. Madanya ko dinaha. I am a dina. I have fallen, I have forgotten who you are. I am lost in the world. I don't do your sadhana. And you are the one who is most compassionate. You are an expert in helping people out of this state. Kripana rakshati nipunaha. Rakshati nipunaha. You are the one who is expert. And so, please help me. I take your refuge. So that's the beautiful meaning here, that I am such a wretched jiva that in this samsara, which is asara, where there is no real happiness, I have been chasing all kinds of pleasures. I have avoided chanting your name, singing your glories. I am such a dull-witted person, completely blinded by my desires. I am the one who deserves your grace. Please protect me. In this world, who can be more fallen and wretched than me? And who is more skilled than you to save a person like me? See that combination. I am fallen and there is no one more wretched than me, and you are the one who is skilled. There is nobody more skilled than you to save a person like me. So I am Kripana and you are Kripanidhi. I have fallen. You are the ocean of kindness. Please show me the light, show me the way. Who else can be a refuge for a person like me? Who else can save me, guide me, and protect me? Hence, O Lord, I take refuge in you. Beautiful shloka. This is called Dina Bhakti. So when we come into that Dina Bhav, then Bhagwan's Kripa manifests more and more. This is not condemning oneself, this is not looking down upon oneself. This is accepting that yes, my mind is like this, I am not able to change. I have not even that efforts I am putting to change. Please help me to come out of this. And so, of course, with Bhagwan's grace, satsang comes into our life. Then we start doing sadhana, and dhire dhire Bhagwan uplifts, makes us one with him. So this is called Dina Bhakti, and here Bhagwan is invoked with complete surrender, no ego at all. And so here he also says, in the next shloka, he says that if you think that my heart is very hard, and that your feet are so soft, and that you cannot place your feet in my heart, if such thoughts are there in your mind, please remove those thoughts, because I know that you are the Lord of the mountains and you are used to hardness. So you please come, stay in my heart and make it soft. Because my heart is hardened because there is no bhav, there is no devotion, there is no love. And you are used to living in hard conditions in the mountains. So I know that you can come and stay in my heart. The devotee has so many different bhavs, saying that Bhagavan, don't stay away from me, come, be in my heart. So this is Mahakala Kalam Kripalum. Bhagwan is most compassionate. See, if Bhagwan gives us karma phala of only our karmas, we will never get satsang. If he goes only by cause and effect, karma and karma phala, we will never get satsang, we will not be able to evolve at all. And that's why it is said satsang comes only by Bhagavad Kripa. Binu satsanga viveka na hoi, Ram Kripa binu sulabha na soi. Without Ramji's Kripa, without Bhagwan's Kripa, satsang will not come. The biggest kindness of Bhagwan, Kripa of Bhagwan, is to bring us the right satsang, and through that we evolve. Satsang itself means the company of the good, company of truth. So there's nothing called right satsang. If there is something wrong in that satsang, that is dussanga. But people are doing anything in the name of satsang today. So then one has to distinguish that. Otherwise, the real satsang will uplift, and that comes by Bhagavad Kripa. So, Kripalum is most compassionate. Then, Gunagara Samsara Param Natoham. He is an abode of virtues. Gunagara. Each aspect of the form has virtues associated. Bhagwan lives those. An abode of virtues does not mean that intellectually he has appreciation for all these qualities, but a value when it is lived becomes a virtue. And Bhagwan is a abode of all of them because he lives those values. Shows in his actions. Gunagara Param, Samsara Param. Beyond the realm of change, Samyak Sarati, that which slips, which we can't grasp, which is continuously changing. That's the nature of samsara. And sometimes the change happens very fast also. By the time we realize everything has changed already. But one who is beyond this change, samsara param, beyond the change meaning the whole change is happening on the substratum of the changeless truth. Bhagwan is that infinite changeless truth. And that is why it is Sara. Otherwise, what was said in the earlier shloka, samsara is asara. Asare samsare. There is no Sara here because everything is perishable, continuously changing, perishing. The changeless, imperishable, absolute truth is only one, and that is consciousness. So these are beautiful meanings, and we will contemplate on this.